Welcome back to Velshi and Ruhle. Once again, Trump's tweets to his 60 million followers are moving global markets. After days in the red, the stock market looks to be rebounding.
Now, so first of all, that's an interesting day. We don't see many of these where it starts off well in the red and now is into the green. But it's not just the 60 million followers, right? The fact is it gets reported out there, and it is Trump's signal to the world that what he's doing. So President Trump on Twitter promised a trade deal with China will, quote, come when the time is right, saying, quote, we can make a deal with China tomorrow before their companies start leaving so as not to lose USA business. On Friday, Trump increased tariffs on $200 billion worth of Chinese imports, and China promised retaliation. Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin addressed the ongoing trade war earlier this morning.
I have no plans yet to go to China. We don't have a date set. I would expect that Ambassador Lighthizer and I, who've been doing this together, we go together at the appropriate time.
Still confident for a China agreement? Still confident that?
I'm hopeful. So I wouldn't say I'm confident.
Thomas Ajamie joins us now. He's an attorney for securities and financial cases 2 days before the midterms. The market was down. The president wanted it up. He said, we're really close to a deal on China. Market shot up within a couple hours. His administration was like, not so much.
Yeah.
CEOs of publicly traded companies are strictly prohibited from giving any sort of guidance outside exactly the window when they're reporting earnings, because that kind of information can move markets. Why can the president?
Well, let me ask you this question. When he made those tweets, he made that and made those market movements, which stocks was he holding and trading? Do we know?
We don't.
How about family members?
Or friends.
How about his friends? Do we know?
We don't know.
Do we know? We don't know what kind of money he was making, do we? Or shorting in that instance.
But if you knew him or you know his behavior and you think that he's saying something that is going to change policy and you can figure out how that's going to work,
yes.
I guess if I were his lawyer, I'd argue, well, it's all out there. I'm tweeting it. But he's doing things that can have an influence on markets.
It's not
it
really.
Also might not be rooted in fact.
It's not really. Well, it's often not rooted in fact, unfortunately. But I think a lot of us know that. But look, he can move markets. He is the president of the United States of America, arguably the most powerful man in the world. And when he speaks, everyone listens to how he speaks. Every president before him, Republican, Democrat, didn't matter which party, really was very careful about how they spoke, very careful about the statements they made, knowing that every time they speak, they're going to affect not just the markets, but they can affect people's behavior, sentiment, make reputations, destroy reputations, start a war. They know this, and so they're very careful. We got this guy who's very temperamental now, and he just sort of says what he wants to say. And Ali, to your point, we know that when he made some comments about a year ago about Boeing stock, the stock moved. And he made comments about Lockheed. The stock moved right afterwards. These things are happening.
And in some of these cases, the president's not telling the truth.
Well, he's just making up things and he's moving. But I think moving markets, but what really, and even if he's telling the truth, he often has information well before anyone else, too. Don't forget. He gets economic information.
Legal ramifications?
He gets economic information before economic reports come out, and he tweets about it before it's announced to the public.
So
we know all this.
So can anybody do anything about it? People ask me all the time, if it were a CEO, the SEC would be on it.
Just ask Elon Musk.
Yes. Well, he right now he has an immunity to speak his mind for sure, but where we could really have some action against him is if we know what he or his family members are doing. And this is what they continue to hide. They're hiding their stock trades. They're hiding their real estate deals. So we don't know what they're doing and if they're making money. And if they're making money, that is corruption, that is insider trading, that is actionable.
What if it's not his immediate family? What if it's his friends at Mar-a-Lago? What if it's the people at the 21 Club where he said, I'm going to lower your taxes? Those are huge donors.
If it's happening in real time, he's still allowed to express his opinion. But if he's at Mar-a-Lago and he says, "Hey, you guys, watch Boeing tomorrow," or watch the markets tomorrow. I have a good feeling tomorrow. That's all he's got to say.
So the tweets are not what endangers him. It's what conversation he might be having in private.
He's having beforehand, and you know he's having a lot of conversations in private, right? He has these meetings in Mar-a-Lago. He doesn't let the press come into Mar-a-Lago. He's all these secret things with all these rich guys who make and ladies who make a lot of their money trading stocks, trading real estate. I bet there's a lot of people getting rich right now. I think there is, based on my background.
Tom, good to see you as always. Thank you for joining us.
Pleasure.
Tom Ajamie is an attorney for security and financial cases.
Next, the president's brand, the Trump brand, might be suffering as a result of his policies, as one of his most popular properties, his resort down in Florida, sees a dip in revenue. We're talking about Doral in Miami. You're watching Velshi Ruhle.